You found us. This is the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. Welcome.
Hey there, welcome back to part 2 of my chat with Brian Lee. This time we're talking about trailers and some of the other work that he does on a daily basis. So if you're a TV affiliate voice, you could potentially have how many stations?
I mean, over 40, 50,
Yeah.
50, you know? So, yeah. And television keeps you busy.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm on cable channels, cable networks and stuff like that, and trailers, and radio, it's the TV stations that crush you all day long.
Because it's like update. You're talking about news?
Just TV stations, everything.
Really?
News, promo, yeah. Like, for instance, I have no TV yet. Oh, there's Chicago. Chicago just came in.
What do you have to do for Chicago?
Look at this banged up SUV, the wreck. Oh, look at this banged up SUV. The wreck was bad, but the red tape was worse. The company rented her an illegal car and left her on the hook. Tickets, legal fees, and more. Until CBS 2 took action. Lauren Victory investigates how the company could allow this. Lauren Victory investigates how the company could allow this. Alternate, Lauren Victory investigates. Thursday on CBS 2 News at 10. So that's in...
You're hired.
Yeah.
But like they could possibly send you other stuff today too.
Who?
This particular station, this one station.
What about him?
This Chicago, right? So they could potentially send you other things as well today.
I guess they could send me 100 things today.
Right. So this is what keeps guys like you and gals like you busy.
Like I voice CNBC, Jim Cutler voices MSNBC.
Oh, wow.
You know, we both work for Nickelodeon. We both work for Paramount Network,
Really?
Paramount Plus. But I hear him on other really cool things like Access TV, you know, and just for like rock shows and whatever. He's huge on like ESPN radio. So whenever I'm in a car, I always hear him go ESPN radio. I always hear him on the bumpers, and he like voices I think like every ESPN radio station. So he is. I didn't think there was anybody busier than me. But
You're on MSNBC?
CNBC.
CNBC. So yeah, yesterday Matt was watching CNBC, and I'm in the kitchen, and I can hear, and I heard your voice.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, yeah, I got a podcast episode with Brian tomorrow. It was like, I hear you, and I'm like, I got to reach out to Brian.
Yeah, like Mad Money just came in for Jim Cramer for CNBC.
Very
Coming
cool.
up, earnings are in for this fast casual guac star. Find out who's cooking this quarter with the Chipotle CEO next. And then coming up, global with a chance to profit. This industrial giant reports and markets move. Kramer's got the CEO when Mad Money returns. So that comes in. I did the Aflac trivia report this morning for them, which is this whole thing about it's time now for Aflac's trivia question. In honor of National Women in Sports Day, who was the first long-distance woman swimmer to cross the English Channel in both directions? The answer, when Squawk Box returns. And then a commercial for Aflac, I'm sure. And then and now the answer to today, the answer, Florence May Chadwick. The California native swam across the English Channel in record-breaking time in 1950 and again in 1951. So I do 3 of those every week.
I want your job. I want to do what you do, Brian.
Yeah. You want my job. You don't want to have to leave. You don't want to have to ever be able to leave your studio for lunch with a friend.
No, I'm perfectly happy with my life. I'm happy for you too. As long as you're happy, then
I mean, I am. I mean,
But it's your life. It's what you do, and it's not like you're missing something else.
No. I mean, it's
and
a
the
dream
money
job.
sure is nice.
It's a dream job. It's a dream job and a dream career. And, when the industry does what the industry does and the clientele does what the clientele does, I'll welcome it. I'll be like, okay, time to retire.
Yeah.
Or time to crank it back.
You had mentioned to me the last time I spoke to you that you've had to reinvent yourself.
Oh, sure. Probably
So
five times.
5 times. So tell me about one of them.
Well, I think that when the first reinvention was when I made my biggest inroads in voiceover. And that was to do the middle of the road read, kind of like Reno Romano, But he was an LA talent, and I was an East Coast talent. So it's just a kind of a middle of. I did it in your studio. I recorded, and I was on your ISDN line, sitting in your studio for Sci-Fi.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And that right there was the beginning of a sound, weeknights on Sci-Fi. Because everything was like in a world. Everything was Don LaFontaine or Joe Cipriano going, The Simpsons, or King of the Hill. Everybody loves Raymond on Fox, doing that stuff. But there was no one doing this middle thing. There was no one going, coming up next on Sci-Fi. They would want, like coming up next. And
how did you figure this out? Or did someone coach you into it? Or what? How did you know to try that read?
Just wanted to be different when I went into recording sessions or auditions because I didn't want to sound like anybody else. Yeah. And it was easy. It was a money read. It was easy. It was in the middle. It wasn't too deep for me. And it wasn't screaming high or pukey. It was just kind of this middle of the, coming up next, Star Trek on Sci-Fi. This program was brought to you by Dial. It was just a middle of the road read. And it was so digestible and palatable for whoever was listening. Oh, this sounds good. It's not high. It's not pukey. It's not forced. It's not, it's just kind of in the middle like this.
But do you do that now too?
Yeah, but so does everybody else.
Oh.
When I did it, I got every audition. It was just like,
right.
It was crazy. In fact, it got to the point where I knew I was going to get it. I knew it. I just knew. I knew when I got an audition for NBC, the network. I said, I know I'm going to get it.
That's awesome.
I know I'm going to become a voice on this network. I just knew it because it was where we were in the industry at the time. And there was just no one doing it. And I remember A&E, just A&E, Sci-Fi Channel. And I was the voice of CNN and CNBC at the same time.
Wow.
Just, and on 3, 4, 5 movie trailer campaigns at any given time.
Wow.
All rom-coms, Love Always, rated PG, things like that. And so that was that was the biggest springboard. It was like, I could do no wrong. It was,
what years was this?
2006 was like the biggest year. It was huge. It was a huge year. That was the year I started doing movie trailers. That was the year I got NBC. That's the year I got A&E. I was already on, I think I had already done CNN. Ellen DeGeneres and Tyra Banks at the same time.
When you were doing Ellen DeGeneres, yeah.
At the same time.
Wow.
Why? Telepictures, what were they thinking? It was just, next Tyra, next Ellen. It was just...
You were the guy.
Yeah, I was just so lucky. I was just so fortunate. I used to do the Tyra stuff, and they'd go, okay, we're going to dial you up from Studio B. Okay, see you, bye. Click, bleep. Hey, what's going on? Because they're literally on the other side of the wall, and now it's time to do the Ellen stuff.
Wow.
And then Wendy Williams and Katie Couric.
Oh, my
all
God.
of their shows. All of their shows. And then I started traveling to L.A. in 2006 and going into the trailer houses. I remember going into Mark Woolen and Associates, and now I just got done doing a huge campaign. Poor Things was all Woolen, and going into Craig Murray, which is now Motion, and then going to CBS and working at CBS, and then going to NBC and working at NBC.
That's cool.
Down in the basement at the KNBC building. I used to sit there and I was going in, and the Days of Our Lives cast was going in another door, down the soap opera.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I came on. I can't believe that a kid in Fort Myers, Florida would even, it was probably the very first talent that NBC, ISDN was like, if you can't come in and there's a traffic jam and something blew up, you can do it at ISDN. Mm-hmm. But they embraced it. Vince Manzi and John Miller, who were running what was called the NBC agency back, and that was Must See TV, Must See Thursday on NBC. And it was just like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to dial you, and then we're going to work. You're going to do 5-6 promo packs a day. And then Fox, X-Files, and I do the Special Forces, World's Toughest Test on Fox. That's all ISDN. American Idol radio campaigns.
Wow.
For that, yeah. And just trailer. So, I mean,
at the heart of it, though, is what you first started talking about before.
What's that?
Believing that you can do this.
Yeah, knowing. You see yourself. You see yourself. I don't believe that you can do anything unless you see yourself. It's not a dream. You see yourself on the stage. You see yourself. You hear yourself. Like before I even got an agent, and it was a recommendation. Somebody told me you need to get a real agent, and that was in 1998. And I'm going to send your demo to an agency, but there was no competition. You had to go into a studio to be a talent, and who had that? Mm-hmm. My demo went to that agent on cassette tape.
Yeah.
It was 1998. That was over 20 years ago. There was no internet. Mm-hmm. I mean, there might be email, but no media,
Let me ask you a question to help me, though. I get a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to be a trailer guy. What do I tell them?
Go be a trailer guy.
But they want to know how to do it.
I mean,
it's a small percentage of the voiceover industry.
It's
so
tiny.
People are wanting to go into this niche.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's like saying I want to be Taylor Swift. Okay, go be Taylor Swift. It's just like, and it might look like that. Like, how is that attainable?
Yeah,
and I would say that Taylor Swift started when it was attainable. Everything has changed now. Do you know what I mean? She got there, and her dad, I guess her Taylor Swift's dad was like a financial guru or advisor or something like that, or a trader. Mm-hmm. And he went out and bought, 600,000 albums of her, and made her go platinum. He did, whatever. When you could do something like that. And it was more of a face-to-face. There was more of a passion. This industry wasn't a failing industry of where local TV is going or where the movie theater business is going. Everyone's doing it on their phones or watching it on TV. It was a different time. And the people I'm working with now are the people that were in the trenches doing this when it was a different time. And so they're sticking with the talent that's been doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why there's 10 guys doing trailers, because we've been doing it. And I'm not saying there's no room for anybody else, but there is a mentality of age, right? That you've taught me a lot, Linda, about the attitude of a Gen Z. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I remember you told me a story about somebody came in or you wanted to interview somebody, and they were on their phone or on their bike or something. And
yes.
And you're like, Woody, and it's like, can I call you in like 15? I'm on my bike. And you're like, no.
Right.
And so I liken that to the trailer industry. My manager will call and go, where are you at? Mm-hmm. I'm home. Good. Oh, good. Can so-and-so, can you do a trailer for so-and-so? And I think that I don't want to speak ill of a generation, but
things are different.
They don't want to be put out.
Right.
There's something, there's other traits too that just don't line up. If it's oh, you're such a boomer, it's like, well, yeah, I am. And we're all boomers, or we're all Gen X, and this is the way that we do things, and we get it done. There's, what's expected of you, and it just makes things work.
Right. As opposed to accommodating the talent. And
I want to do this, and I'm sorry, but I don't know if I'm being fair, but as Gen Xers, the whole millennial attitude and Gen Z attitude is something that we make fun of. They can make fun of us all. We all old and boomery and just and you work your ass off and you don't, it's all about, I'm not going to, the clock says 5, I leave at 5. I'm not coming in before 9 and just, whatever. Well, guess what? The trailer industry is so far away from that. Mm-hmm. It is so different. It's It's like, uh-oh, need to do this now. Not like, well, do I have to do it now? Can we do it tomorrow? Can you wait an hour? It's like, no, we can't.
Right.
We can't wait an hour. You're on this campaign. You know you're on this campaign. You need to be available. They not say that. They won't say that to me. They're not here to be my parent. But they know I know this.
Right. Yes.
In fact, they don't even think about it. They go, Brian's on the campaign. He's going to be around. It's not going to be, where's Brian? Oh, God. He's going to be around. And this isn't even a personal relationship with the trailer house or the producer or the editor or the studio, for that matter. We pick up the phone. It's the bat phone, man. They call the manager, and the manager goes, okay, let me get him for you. Where you at? You around? Yep, good.
Yeah.
Not like I'm out at a movie. I'm out at dinner. I'm out, whatever. I don't want to do this. I'm like, can we do it Monday?
Yeah. Well, then, as far as I'm concerned, if that's the attitude, you don't really want to do it. So go do something else.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't think I should. I don't think I should have to do this. It's about me. Think about me. You're asking. You want me. You want me to be the voiceover guy. Then we're going to do it my way.
Yeah, I know. It's complete ridiculousness.
Whatever.
And it's not even to the extreme points like you're with the trailer houses, like you're saying. It's like in like the bat phone. Here, just having a regular voiceover career, you have to be available. At least respond in a timely manner and not blow people off.
Yes. I give everyone my cell phone number. There's people I'm not going to give that person my cell phone number. It's like, why?
Yeah.
It's a conduit. It's a connection. It's a tether to you. Yes, that's right. It's a tether, and I don't want to be tethered. It's like, well, then you know what?
Well, then
Sorry.
you don't want it. Yeah. You don't want it.
It's a
choice.
And so there's a little jump around and say, I want to be a trailer talent, or I want to be this, I want to be that, but I don't want to work for it.
I know.
I don't want to do even my agent says that. People don't want to work. People say, oh, they go crying to the agent. I want to get into this. I want to get into promo. I want to do this. And the agent says, well, then can you get me a demo by Monday? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, why can't you just sell my demo? Because I need a promo demo. And then it's Monday comes around, and then if the agent even gives a shit, they'll go, did you make your promo demo? No. Well, then you really don't want it that badly, do you?
Right. Yeah. Uh-oh. I lost you. Hello? Brian, there you are.
There we go. So what was the last thing you heard?
I heard the demo. You didn't make a demo? Then you must not want it.
Yeah, must not want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it's always been, as far as I'm concerned, for our generation.
Right. So, I mean, I don't care. I've gotten to the point in my life where I say that I'm lucky because I want to be humble. I say that I'm lucky. I'm so fortunate. You always hear me say that. I'm so fortunate. And when I'm interviewed, I say, it doesn't matter if it's a tiny little job or a network or a trailer. Somebody wants your voice for their project. Mm-hmm. It's a privilege. Somebody wants to hand you money. You're grateful. You're grateful.
I don't feel that I would tag you as lucky because of all the hard work you put into it.
And that's what my dearest friends say. They're like, you work so hard. You've
it's
worked
not
for
luck.
every single. Yeah, well, luck favors the prepared.
Yes. When I was doing really, really well, somebody who's no longer my friend would say, oh, you're getting all these big things because you're really lucky. And it offended me because I'm like, do you understand how long I have been working towards this? And, she didn't. She just thought, oh, it's just easy to book that. It's just easy to have that huge campaign.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah. And there's zero luck involved. What do they say? Opportunity plus preparedness equals good luck.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to put yourself in the right.
Right. In the right frame of mind. So anybody can say they want to be a trailer talent. And I remember I likened it to some very nerdy story here, and it's very short. But I remember my father was an amateur radio operator. Mm-hmm. It's ham radio. And nobody out there is going to know it unless you're, a little older. But back before cell phones and whatever, you could get this. It's kind of like a CB, big CB radio, but it's single sideband. It works on a different, but you can talk all around the world on it. And then when I was a kid, my father became a ham radio operator, and he put this radio and he put a tower out in the backyard, and he would say CQ, CQ, WD4JWV, Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet Whiskey Victor calling CQ and listening. And then all of a sudden someone would come in and go, Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet Whiskey Victor, this is WB4KCG, over. WB4KCG, this is WD4JWV. The name here is Steve, Sierra Tango Echo Victor Echo Steve, and the QTH is Sarasota, Florida. Go ahead, WD4JWV, WB4KCG. And then the person would answer and say, QTH is Boston. And I'm like, what? And if he was on a certain frequency, it could be England. You know, some guy was like, hey, hello, Steve. Hello. Hello, cheerio. The sun's going down here. I mean, it was, and it sounds like they're next door. Yeah. And I was just like,
fascinated.
The coolest thing in the world, yeah. But in order to become a ham radio operator, you had to learn Morse code.
Wow.
You could not become a ham radio operator unless you could do 2.5 words a minute in code.
Shoot.
So, Linda, did it, did it. That's Linda in Morse code. Guess who learned it?
God.
And yeah, so if you know, Brian is beep, 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 beep. That's Brian in Morse code. So he's like, oh, you want to become a ham radio operator? Go learn Morse code. And if you wanted to get other rankings and work other frequencies, you had to be better. You know, it's like you were a novice, you had to 2.5 words a minute. And then to get a tech license, you had to learn, I think, no more. And then a general, you had to do like 10 words a minute, which is like beep, 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 beep. You have to write it down and you have to send it. I never made that. I never wanted to go that high. My dad made a general rating for a ham radio operator. But the story is that the FCC made it to where you could become an amateur radio operator and you didn't have to do Morse code. It's like learn how to drive, and what don't you have to do now? Can you answer that question? When you take a driving test, we had to do it, and you have to do it in New York for sure. What don't you have to prove driving now when you take a driving test on your driving exam? What's that?
Exam?
No. It's part of driving a car.
Parallel park?
Yes, you do not have to parallel park.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, why? Why not?
In New York, you need
Isn't that just, you know, showing that you can back up? You know, an
Yeah,
angle
I
and
know.
do it. Somebody went, nah.
Well, these cars, the new ones do it themselves.
I know, but it's
Which is
just like,
crazy.
who made that decision? Too many people are failing. Oh shit! It's like maybe we should teach them better.
They're making it easy.
I go to Germany, and go to Munich, and then drive down to Austria on an interstate that doesn't have a speed limit. You know, I was going like 145 miles an hour.
I've heard of that. Yes.
And everybody is insanely good.
Yeah.
The drivers are just they have so much situational awareness.
Yeah.
People get out of your way. People signal and flash lights, but it's all not get out of my way.
Nasty.
It's like this is what we're doing. It's a dance, and it's so cool. You come to America and you're like, oh God, it's just like people will just kill you in this country, and it's because you cannot get a driver's license over in Germany just by going, here's my name, and I drove in a circle. Yeah, I get to drive. You have to learn, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a major deal over there. But in the end, everybody's on the same page. Here, it's pathetic and scary and dangerous. So I liken that, and so they made it. The Morse code thing, they made it, well, you can get your license and you don't have to learn Morse code. Mm-hmm. And so all the veteran code guys, you know, all the veteran radio operators were like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy is now on the air and he didn't have to learn Morse code. He gets to just, he doesn't have, and so that's me in trailers. Yeah. It's like, you know, I've been doing trailers for a long time, and it's just like, I don't want anybody just to walk in and go, in a world, and the thing about it is the trailer industry isn't going to allow that anyway.
I was going to say, could they even?
No, they're not going to. So when you say you want to break into trailers, then work your ass off, listen to every trailer guy out there, get a read down, learn it, and then talk to your agent about it and see if you can ever get a scratch or an audition.
Brian,
and if
can
you're
you help
that
me
good,
get an agent?
Yeah. And if you're a manager and if you're that good, it'll happen. So the answer to all of this is, how do I break into it, whatever? Live it, breathe it, eat it, drink it, shit it.
Bathe in it.
Bathe in it. Obsess about it.
Yeah.
If it's in you, and it's different from a different era, there was no distractions. If you weren't in a studio doing voiceover, or you didn't weren't in a studio producing, doing stuff, you were staring at the floor. You were at home watching one of the 3 TV channels. It's just it's this. Now this is the biggest distraction in the world. This right here tells everybody that they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I toss and turn for an hour, I might go on my phone and thumb through Instagram.
You're not supposed to do that.
I know, but I'll do it.
You will do it.
just because. And so I saw this guy recently, and he's just like, I don't know if you were ever sent to your room as a kid. Go to your room.
Oh, yeah.
That sucked. You know what there was to do in your room? Nothing. What did you do in your room? Nothing.
I would play albums on my little tiny phonograph.
Okay.
But that brought me a lot of pleasure.
On your record player.
Yes.
But if your parents wanted you to suffer, they would go, no TV, no record player, no what. Go sit in your room. Mm-hmm. You know what you could do? Read. They wouldn't say, don't read.
Right.
So, you had no phone, no TV, no radio. No, you have no TV, no radio, no phone. Go to your room.
I pissed off my parents once because my mother's like, go to your room. And I was like, that's a good idea. Now I can spend some time in there by myself.
Yeah, not getting yelled at by you, Mom.
And she was angry because I wasn't upset about it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I saw an Instagram video where a kid went crazy because you've seen the thing, the mother took the phone away. Mm-mm. And the kid just
lost it.
Oh my God. Took a hammer to the house.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And destroyed everything. I mean, the bathroom, the toilet's porcelain. And it just became all because she took his phone away.
Oh man!
And she's on her phone showing it, going like, "He just talking when he go doing his homework, and he was so talking back, and I just took his phone away, and I can't believe what he. Oh my God! And everything is shattered. Mirrors are shattered, holes in the wall, just whatever.
What did she never discipline this kid?
I mean, it's crazy, So God bless the kids who have a passion and a focus, and it's about a dream and fighting so hard. Mm-hmm. My daughter is 25. She's in Nashville. Just got a call back on a beer commercial in LA.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. She auditioned and she got it. She has a call back today, and she works so hard.
Yeah.
She lives and drinks and eats and breathes music and production and writing and singing and arranging.
It's a chip off the old block.
And none of it comes easy.
Right.
The love of it is what comes easy. The drive of can't wait to get into a room to do it is what comes easy for her.
You know what I'm excited about right now? I'm actually going to take the 2-part course to learn fully Pro Tools.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I know how to do what I do, but I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. I want to understand it. And for me, it's like I feel like everything else I do is like autopilot. I know how to do voiceovers. I know how to coach. Mm-hmm. And I need something to expand my brain. Here we are. We're in our 50s. It's like we got to keep learning.
Right.
And all I think about is starting this course.
Yeah.
Because I love that,
Mm-hmm.
But I have to keep going.
I used to be a tech for Pro Tools when
really?
I first started. Yep. They gave my number out and they said between 1 and 3 today. Would you be available? And they forwarded the tech line to me.
So you're the one I'm going to call when I have questions.
So Brian, yeah.
Explain this to me.
This is Brian. And they're like, hi, I'm having a problem with my... I remember that. Now Pro Tools does a gazillion things,
Yeah.
But
who are your 3 biggest clients?
You mean like retainer fee or like income based or like exposure based or company based?
Company based.
Well, that's a very interesting question because if I do like 2 or 3 campaigns for Warner Brothers in a year, they're my biggest client. Mm. They have paid me the most because I did the most work for them.
So over the last 6 months, who were your 3 biggest clients?
NBC. MLB Network.
Mm.
And probably a trailer, probably a studio, like a Paramount.
And the Voiceover Gurus Podcast.
And the Voiceover Gurus Podcast.
Are you doing the Stanley Cup stuff this year? Are you doing the games? No.
No, not this year. Do stuff for the Olympics,
Okay.
mainly in internal marketing and stuff, like Emmy submission stuff. They'd say the Olympics, so 8 billion people, I think I have a YouTube link somewhere where I did it for, they talked about when it was COVID and everything. And so here we have the new Olympics coming up, Tokyo Olympics, right, coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So when all that goes and how many days the Olympics are and whatever wraps, then probably creative, the Olympics division at NBC will probably start writing things and talk about the successes and how many satellites they used and transatlantic lines they used and how many cameras they used.
Oh, wow.
And how many billions of minutes or hours of video of streaming they did and whatever, and put it in.
So this is
a
all
package.
post event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like, hey, will you do the Olympics in Tokyo?
Right.
Which I was up for years ago and I didn't go. And it was Bill St. James was doing all of it back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Steve Kamer may have been like the sponsorship guy or whatever over there. Clients come and go, like NBC Sports will go away and then they'll come back. CBS Sports will go away and then they'll come back.
They
Fox
mix it
will
up.
go away and Fox will go away and then they'll come back. My business is divided between bookings and between retainer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost half and half.
50-50.
Half is radio and television retainer, and that's a base that I work off of that I know I'm going to make every year because it's contracts. And then the other side is bookings. You're booked for this movie, you're booked for this cable promo, you're booked for this special, you're booked for this or that or whatever.
How many auditions do you think you do? What's your percentage of auditions? As opposed to just direct bookings.
I don't get that many auditions anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't.
They know who
the
you
last
are.
The last audition I got was that I booked was for the National Hot Rod Association, and I wanted it, so I called the agent. I said, I want this.
Oh, wow.
And I said, can you share my enthusiasm with the buyer?
That's
I know
great.
you got all these voices, but Brian Lee is one of our guys, and he wanted to. I said, you can give a message to the buyer,
Yeah.
And the buyer was like,
Okay.
wow, we didn't think we could afford him. Actually, so it's a really good feeling,
Oh my
or whatever.
gosh.
And they're great. And I'm like, I just want I want to do it, and it's a retained client,
It's a wonderful place to be, Brian. It is.
I say to myself at least once a week, if it all ends today, I got a chance to do everything I ever wanted to do.
That's
everything.
awesome.
Everything I ever wanted to do.
I'm so happy.
In
I'm
vo-
always
in
so happy for
voiceover.
you. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great place to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could talk
Good.
forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Of course,
Yeah,
it took us a
absolutely.
bit, but I love all your insight, and so does everyone else because they're always saying, "Oh, we love to hear Brian Lee." So that wraps up another episode of the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. Of course, I'm going to chop this into 2 episodes because there's so much wonderful content. You're going to just say, hey, thanks in your promo voice. Thanks for listening to the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. Coach with Linda. She's great.
Yeah, exactly. Book Linda. Pay Linda. Linda is an absolute expert in this business, in this field. If you're even interested remotely, call Linda Bruno. There she is. Call her right now. If you don't, your loss. You've been listening to the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. Have a great day.